My name's Deanna James. I'm touching up the tattoo I did on our content creator, Ian McKinnon. I did this tattoo a year and a half ago. Yes. Right now we're just touching up and adding little parts that I've been wanting to add. And I'm going to answer a few questions that you guys have about touch-ups. First things first, everything that exists in life needs maintenance of some sort. Tattoos are definitely one of them. Now, a lot of people don't get their tattoos touched up again after getting them done, but you can if you want. It's not a thing that you have to actively plan for though. I, for one, have never gotten a tattoo touched up, and I really like just the natural way a tattoo ages. So really your personal preference just on how crisp and clean you want your tattoo to look. Sometimes, it could bother you more than it would other people. So for multi-day sessions, like this one that I did over a 3-day period at a convention, you're really trying to be efficient and getting everything done in time without hurting the client. And sometimes I do like to go over it a second pass because 3 to 4 days is a very short amount of time to get things done. So I just like to touch up whatever I need to, make sure they come back because it is such a large piece, and so there's more room for error, even if you don't see it at the very beginning. Also with 3 days, there are some parts that might heal a little bit lighter because it is a lot of trauma to your skin. And although 3 days may not be perfect for everybody, it's still something that can be done. I have done many 3-day pieces, and I've touched up a few of them. But because I know how to do it and I've been tattooing for a very long time, it has worked out for me. But I really urge everybody to make sure that they start off slow and build up the size of their tattoo that they can get done in a short amount of time before jumping in right away. When does a tattoo need touching up? Again, it's your personal preference. Usually tattoos heal in about 2 weeks after they're done. At that point, if anything didn't heal correctly, that would be the point where you can get it touched up, but you shouldn't get your tattoo touched up before 2 weeks. And realistically, you don't want any parts that look like they're still healing when you do get touched up, which means any parts that look shiny or like they're still peeling. After 2 weeks and making sure everything is healed, you can get your tattoo touched up at any point in your entire life. But again, it's not necessary to ever get it touched up. Tattoos age just like everything else. Areas that I anticipated on touching up is usually around the knee area, honestly, because of the way that knees bend while it's healing. It's a lot of movement, similar to wrists. I imagine that I would have needed to touch that up, and also parts that hurt a lot. So the back of the leg here towards the butt is a really hard place to get tattooed. And especially at the end of the 3rd day, it's tough to have the client sit through something like that. So I would imagine I would need to touch some parts up there as well. Turns out I didn't need to touch anything up down there by the knee, but I did need to touch up some parts by this area where I may not have gotten it in as saturated as I wanted it to be. A good tip when doing any kind of tattooing, or especially if you're doing the 3-day pieces, is to find a good end point to stop it at to where it still looks like a completed piece. There is more I wanted to add, so I actually added some of these swirls up here, but before I did that, it still looked completed. That way, he's not walking around with a half-finished looking piece afterwards. Ultimately, what you want to shoot for is hopefully it doesn't need to get touched up at all, and luckily, this really didn't need a lot to be touched up. If anything, I would say this took about an hour. Yeah, probably an hour to completely touch up everything I needed to. Lucky for me, even though this was like a year or so later, I may not know exactly where the reference is at this point. I don't need the reference because 1, I do essentially know how to draw, and 2, I use the same color palette for everything I do, so I know what colors made what. Okay, Now let's do your nipples.